With us once again is Craig Braun. Welcome to the show again, Craig. How are you?
Good to be with you.
One of the things we talked about last time was the tongue sticking out and the Rolling Stones. Tell
Yeah.
us about your involvement with that.
Well, the genesis of that was that after the Stones left London Decca and made their own deal for their own labor with Ahmet Ertegun at Atlantic Records, I was commissioned to design their first album, which was called Sticky Fingers. And part of that was the need for a logo. So I asked the president of Rolling Stones Records, Marshall Chess, is anyone working on that? And they said, he told me that a kid from an art school in London was working on it. And because my business model at the time was to manufacture and produce everything that I designed, I needed that logo to get started with the packaging, because this is with a real zipper in it. It required hand operations, so I had to get the jump on it. In any event, he didn't have anything. He said, I have a little sketch. I could send it on a fax. This is 1970, so it was a thermo fax. You could barely read it. But anyway, I gave it to my art department and told them to blow it up as big as they could. And I said, we'll create our own logo, because I can't wait for this kid in school. So I went ahead. I had about 6 or 7 different iterations, and I finally approved it. We put together the artwork. I sent someone to London to meet with Mick and Marshall Chess, and they approved it looking at the inner sleeve where this giant logo was and on the package, thinking, I don't know what they thought, but I said to my guy, what did they say? He said, it's fantastic. It's great. So I said, I'm glad you didn't say anything about the logo, because that's my version. And so we brought it back. We manufactured the package. It came out in April of 1971. And I told the record company in London, when the kid finishes, why don't you just make an insert and put it in the UK album? So fast forward 49 years, the version that I did is the one that's used as a default version for all their tours, merchandising. Everything that they do has my version of the logo. But because Mick had commissioned this kid, when they bring it up, they always say, and the logo was created by John Patch. So you can't get any fairness in this life. In any event, I created the most iconic logo of all time in the music business and beyond, and I didn't even get, as the English would say, a halfpenny for it. I didn't get any money for it. Not close to $1 billion with that logo.
Wow. But you do have the satisfaction of knowing what you know. And now the world knows, because you just told me the story here.
Yeah. I know what I know, and our president doesn't know what he knows. Anyway, you wanted to know, I did win a Grammy in 1974 for Tommy the Rock Opera, and the Sticky Fingers package, which I had a speech prepared, was in, I think, 1971 Grammys. I'm sitting out there in the audience, and I know I'm going to win. What can touch that? You know, it's the greatest album cover of all time. And the announcement comes up and it says, and the greatest album cover of the year is Pollution. So I turned to the guy next to me. I said, what? What did he say? He said, Pollution. You could have knocked me over with a feather. I couldn't believe it. And a lot of people couldn't believe it. But it was actually a cute cover, because it was a chick coming out of an egg with a gas mask on. So it was kind of a clever cover. But come on, the Stones, real zipper, and a semi-hard-on in the Levi's that I shot with Andy, the Polaroids. I couldn't believe it. But 2003 MTV VH1 called me and they said, we're doing the 50 greatest album covers of all time, and you're in that list a few times. So, but the one we're interested in interviewing you is Sticky Fingers by the Rolling Stones. So I said, I'm in New York. All my storage stuff is out in L.A. Why don't you just mention it, show the cover? And they said, no, we want you on camera. We want to talk to you about it. So I said, all right, here's the deal. If it's in the top 5 greatest album covers of all time, I'll do it. And this woman says to me, don't say a word to anyone, but it is the #1 greatest album cover of all time. So I had to wait. I had to wait several decades,
but it happened. And when you mentioned Andy, just for our audience, which Andy?
Andy Warhol.
Exactly.
I did 2 covers with him. I did the banana cover with him, the album cover, and the Sticky Fingers with the zipper.
So much fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
So Craig, you're like a hybrid in our industry. So not only have you worked in music, but you've also worked in film and television. Can you talk to us just a couple of key roles that you've played for our audience at home? Because they're going to look at your face and they're going to be like, wait, isn't he the guy that...
Yeah, well, they probably would recognize me from, I did several Laws and Orders, the different divisions, the sex crimes, what was it called, SVU, and so forth. And I've done, I did a picture with Hugh Jackman and Travolta called Swordfish. I did a picture with Philip Seymour Hoffman and Bob De Niro called Flawless. And, Great Expectations. I did a number of films, and I did a lot of television work. And more than that, I did a lot of theater, getting my chops sharpened to do this work.
And are you ready to read a few more scripts? Because I'm good friends with Donna McKenna, who's a casting director, and I think the 2 of you would work together so well.
Yes, I know her name. I don't think I've been in front of her.
Okay.
But I'd love to be. In any event, I've been doing some. I'm a member of a lifetime member of the Actors Studio, so they've been doing little projects. They're doing a 6-play show called Demagoguery, with lots of implications you might imagine. And I'm working with 3 directors on 3 different pieces there. So at least I'm keeping my feet in the wading end of the pool.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us once again. And I'm going to keep bringing you back. I like having you on as a guest. And continued success to you, Craig. And happy journeys.
I think you're terrific, too. So we are in a mutual admiration society here.
Thank you. And take that call because it could be your agent. Bye, Craig. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.